That shit. Anytime you want, computer. Yes. Hello, everybody. This is Joe Matado. Hope everyone's having a great evening. Well, y'all might see this in a moment. So, great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you happen to be chilling at the time you catch us archive. Or if you're listening to us live right now, I know for our friends over there in Australia, it is actually it's what is today? Monday. It's actually Tuesday in the afternoon over there, man. Getting close to the evening time. I hope all y'all are having a good time. I think we got some Aussies visiting this year, so if you got might want to root for the Aussies. We're representing a couple of countries this year, by the way. We have our next guest, and let him introduce himself in just a minute. For anybody who was writing to me earlier about the other shows, you have to stay behind. We're just behind them. They're actually live now. Since they ended, we went out and made service, so you can catch us on the radio side right now if you want to. I know Angel Rock just ended. Miss Canadian lady up there in where the hell she's at? Oh, Thunder Bay. Yes, people don't go Thunder Bay. This snow gets up like to your neck up there. It's like 60 below. Just stay away from the place. Oh, she's listening. She's gonna smack me. Anyway, sorry, I took place. Introduce yourself and let them know who you are.
Oh, I'm Nick Jizba. I'm an artist from Omaha, Nebraska, and they brought me out here because they like my work.
So first time winner, second time winner.
First time winner. I've submitted a few times, but
what's going on this year?
I think you can only win once, so I think everyone.
Well, you can only win once, and that's what I was saying earlier. I know people have submitted up to 38 times. So
yeah, I think it was just 3 or 4 for me. One of my friends won it a few years back, so
that's impressive.
Yeah, that's how I found out about the contest. So
it's so nice for all y'all get to meet each other.
Yeah,
since there's so little ego going around, and I know artists have egos, but y'all get to make some really great connections, and not just with the judges, but camaraderie amongst them. It's going to be good, and down the line, I noticed I was talking to some. I just did an interview with 2 of the winners from last year, and 4 out of 5 of them go back and forth with their work. Since they all started doing that, they all started making money. Before, when they were just doing it by themselves, they weren't. But now, they have real criticism, but it's not mean criticism because they're friends.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had them all 5 on, and I was like, yeah, life's better, things are going better. I said, so was it writers of the future that kicked in? I said, yeah, that's what it was. So when you started submitting to Write the Future, you thought it was really blind judge? You surprised they didn't ask you for some money or something?
I was surprised they didn't ask for money, but I've submitted to a couple other things that are blind judged. I think there's what's it called? Infected by Art is another blind judge one for they hire artists and to be the judges and show it to you, but you got to pay to be in that one, and all you're getting is the book. So
yeah, I've actually did investigation in several of these groups since I got involved with this one. I'm real lucky. I got a big team of researchers that work for my other organizations, and for the radio station, so I can reach 3 channel and do different things. And they're tough too, man. They'll get into a group. And just recently, I got an email from an art group, and one of the girls said, "Oh no, Joe, they're completely fraud." They gave me the whole list, and then they sent me 300 complaints from people who were. So I said, "Yeah, I'll come under and talk to you." I guarantee they don't ever want to talk to me again.
Yeah,
but somebody's got to defend people. I mean, I'm in a position that I can't. Most people can't. It's just a different world. For me, it's like even when a telephone company gives me shit, I'm like, really? I got to 14 million people every week just in archives. We ain't even talking about live audiences. You really want to go there? Yeah, they usually change their minds, but not everybody can do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's always good to know.
And I couldn't do that in the old days. I could do it now, but I couldn't do it in the old days. So again, what made you think you could do art?
I actually started out doing construction work. I was doing low voltage electrical stuff. Yep. And I was doing that, just getting into that as the market crashed back in 2008. And I was just I took the safe job. I might as well go do the one that sounds fun. So I went into school to do game design. And by the time I was done with that, I was just having more fun painting my own stuff than doing 3D models and working on game stuff.
So you heard what I was asking. So writing, drawing?
I do everything digitally because I started out more on the 3D modeling side.
It makes sense on today's market. On today's art world, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, all the schooling was I went to ITT Tech, obviously not the best school. They've been sued into the ground so many times.
Well, they got a good reputation for some things.
Yeah, their architecture stuff, but their game design program.
Yeah, they got. Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to tell the other 2. What's his name? He just brought his business to New Orleans, and he's hiring 26 art designers for his gaming company. I can't remember his name. He's one of the biggest.
I'll find out for y'all. He's one of because everybody was surprised when he chose New Orleans.
Yeah.
But it's going to bring in, I think they said about $16 million a year. And they're going to be doing all of his graphic design down there for all of his gaming.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I can't remember. I'll find out. For some reason, it's just in my head.
Like,
but I was surprised when they said he was coming to New Orleans. I was like, why would you come here?
He's been pulling some slick stuff yet. They've got Silicon Valley now, and they started bringing in a lot of high tech. And so now I guess the gamer he said when they interviewed him, he said, "No, I want to be near these tech people now." He said, I got tech people. He said, I'm really just looking for artists at the moment, artists and writers. That's what he was looking for.
Gotcha.
And when I listened to him talk, he really had said, they're still looking for people. So, and I guess they're just trying to get new games out, like everything. And drawing for games gotta be tough.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Like especially like the concept art side, you can't just come up with something cool. You've got to be able to show the people that are building the 3D models like how exactly it looks from all the
stay out of copyright at the same time.
Stay out of copyright, plan things out so that people who are doing like the steps further down from you can like take care of their stuff easily from what you've done. So
it's definitely been interesting when I watch all of y'all. And gaming's a good way to go. I mean, if you get into the industry, you're pretty much set. I mean, as long as you're decent, you're pretty much set.
Yeah,
like Bobby Rice told me, he does it for a living. He said, "Well, I'm not the greatest graphic designer, but they need so many. It doesn't really matter." Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good, but he's a modest guy. You know, he makes about $180,000 a year doing art. But and that's what he did. He moved to New York first. He made a little money, and then he went overseas for a little while with some gaming company. And EA brought him back.
Okay, gotcha.
And I don't know what he was doing for EA because EA does all kind of stuff, but it's who he was working for. He told me last time that they just gave him different projects. Gotcha. He said one time it was football, one time it was some stabbing death, one time it was dead walkers and stuff like that. And he really enjoys it. He really does. So, what's your aspirations? What you're hoping for?
Lately, I started working on my own book actually. So
we're gonna see now. You can come back next year if you win the book, man.
Yeah. So I'm not the best writer, but I've seen some other artists that have done they write really simple stories that just sort of tell.
You want to take what a lot of artists are doing here? The last couple of years I've talked to children's stories.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that
because they can do the artwork easily, and you don't have to be the best writer in the world to write a child's story. I mean, you got to be good, but you don't have to be the best. And I was surprised at how many of them are successful with it.
Yeah, there's I think once you break into children's books, I know a lot of other artists. I'm still taking classes with a lot of people that want to do children's books, and so it seems like once you're into that, you got the door open for you.
A couple of ladies I met last year, they were doing serious novels, but they were also wanting to do children's books. And then a couple of the artists I was talking to said, "No, I want to do children's books just because I really enjoy it and I feel good about it." And I'm like, "Hey, look. If you can make money at it, I say go for it." I mean, I'm not an artist or a writer. And even though Emily's going to drive me crazy with writing a book. Oh, God. I did pump out 3,500 words last night in 15 minutes. I was like, I don't know where that came from. I told her this morning, I said, "You're running off on me. Stop it."
Oh, yeah. It sounds like art, too, where some days I'll get something done in 2 or 3 hours, and the next it'll be 40 to try to get something decent.
So you sitting around doing some images pop in your head, or do you progressively move it along?
I have to be able to work without inspiration, so I found ways to find work. So I'll do abstract, where you basically I do it digitally, but basically throwing ink at paper and trying to picture a picture in it. And if you've got nothing else.
Well, some of the greatest sculptures in the world said that the sculpture's there, they just removed the rock.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what you're doing. Is you're just looking for an interesting layout of those dark splotches, and then you got to find where the monster fits or where the person fits.
Some famous artists said that too. Well, you could be like Picasso and nobody what the hell you were doing. So
yeah, that's true. I do more representational stuff though. I started out watching Bob Ross, so trying to.
Oh, sorry. You know, I watch Bob Ross all the time. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I would watch him you be doing this. I'm like, no way, he's scraping this. I said, this ain't gonna look like shit. And all of a sudden, there's I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that was so cool.
It sounded easy when it did it. I was like, oh, come on, I'm not believing this.
And it's one of those things where it's hard to figure out exactly how he was doing it, but once you figure it out, then it becomes your hand just knows what to do to make this mark.
He would have survived in the woke world.
Yeah,
He's not. No one's ever saying anything bad. I mean, he's like, what's his name from Mister Rogers? No one's ever saying anything bad about him.
exactly. Like he has like pet squirrels and everything. Like,
I know. I mean, which is nice. I mean, I hadn't talked with the other ones about this, and this will be something that'll be coming up in some of the interviews. But last year we were asked a lot of times, for both writers and for artists, how are you going to deal with the woke world? I mean, because a lot of people expect you
yeah,
to move art that way, which I don't think is actually fair unless it's something you're into. I mean, artists have a tendency
yeah.
to do what they do best. So, but it has a question that's been coming up a lot.
I don't think it's going to be a problem for me. I mostly do landscapes and big
Oh,
monsters,
you're
and like
fine.
I,
You're
I've
good.
sort
You
of
got nothing to
I
worry
sort of
about.
dodged the bullet on
Unless
that
you
one.
make this big giant Dave monster, you're probably all right. But
Yeah,
it's
like
but it is a question. I get asked it a lot. Well, Joe, how do you deal with it in radio? I said, I don't. I said, what do you mean? I said, I got Getty Hurts, but I got to deal with. They can deal with it. And they're
yeah.
like, what? I'm like, I'm going to deal with that. I said, I got hosts to deal with that kind of stuff.
I think that's the same way it's going to go with art. There's always been
I
like
think so,
pushbacks
too.
against like nudity in art and all that kind of stuff. So I think artists
I
are
think
used
we
to
need
pushback.
more nudity
Yeah.
in art. But
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
that's just me.
Like
Right?
there's been pushback from like every side. Like
Oh, I wanted to ask you that too, because when I was talking with JW about that, because I noticed some artists really feel the need to have a live model, whether it's naked or not. They feel the need to have a live model. Some don't, and I'm not sure what's the difference. I mean, is it okay? Let's do this a different way. So you're drawing a woman, whether it's a monster woman or not. You're still drawing this woman. Some of them feel the need when they need a live model to get the curves right and the subtleness right. But I don't find that everyone needs that. So it's got to be different for some people.
it's at least in my experience, it's more of like a learning thing. Like the photo is perfectly still no matter what you're doing
Yeah,
with
that's
it,
what I
and
was
so
thinking.
from that. But if you can do it from a live model, it means you have a better understanding of anatomy and stuff. Just because you've had to learn to like keep that same pose.
There's nothing wrong with a naked woman running around, but still, I mean, I
Yeah,
just.
it,
They had some
it's
good models last year.
yeah,
They were pretty good, and they did a nice scene, and so you could do the whole 9 million. I know they're gonna have some this year,
yeah,
of course it wouldn't matter to me anyway. It'd still be a stick there with boobs. I mean, so that's all it would be. It'd be
yeah.
like two sticks with some round things on the sides. Just be stupid. Um,
But yeah, I think that really is like an anatomy thing where it's unlike landscapes and other stuff. Like you have to get the human body like exactly right, otherwise people are gonna be like the face
oh yeah,
looks wrong and stuff.
and,
So
and I see artists sometimes get off like on the hands or the feet or the structure of the ears. And I mean, it's different for different people. But I guess once you do it enough, it becomes a habit.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm still trying to get there. Like I said, I'm self-taught. Started out with Bob Ross and stuff, so I'm still doing anatomy classes. But like
My wife draws good, but I can't get this to it. She just won't do it. She's like, even though I got to sell some of her artwork, she still won't do it. She's like, no,
yeah,
this is a baby sell artwork. And then I realized she sold more than $10,000, but she can't submit anyway.
Yeah.
And then I told her that. I said, what do you mean? She's well, I want to submit now. I said, you can't. I said, it's way too much money. She's like, well, I said, I'm sorry. They won't let you submit. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you this. This is we switched a little bit, but where do you think illustrations headed this day? So you heard us, or you weren't here when we were talking. I'm
Okay.
asking us. Let's talk about this real quick.
Okay.
Because when the next gentleman comes up, so have you ever watched Discovery or any of the new sci-fi shows where they're not using the green screens anymore?
Oh yeah, well they've got those like light, but they got the screens.
I forgot the name of it, but so this is a whole different thing now, and they need designers for this. I was just listening to the producer of Discovery the other day talking about the real need to help design these sets because it's not green screen anymore. These are living, active sets.
Oh yeah, I've seen some stuff on that. Like that seems like more like you pull in like the technical people from game design, where you've got like the 3D set already built out, so you can like move the light around.
And they
like
do,
that.
but they need you to design what it's going to look
Gotcha.
like.
Okay.
Because tech people can't do that. And I don't want to hate on tech people because I'm a tech person myself. But so I can make anything work if somebody showed me what they wanted. But I'm not the guy with the imagination to make it come out like that. You show it to me, yeah, because I do that in my construction business all the time. Don't ask me to remodel your house, but show me what you want. And I'll make sure that's what you get.
Gotcha.
And I think that's what y'all going to see a lot of.
Oh yeah, so they're looking for more like concept art for that, basically.
Yeah, that's good money too.
Yeah, like anything new, like they end up needing concept art.
Anything in Hollywood, good money either too. So it's don't. Best thing I tell you is don't sell yourself cheap.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, go high, and if they tell you no, find a negotiation point.
Yeah.
But if you go low, you're going to get known for that, and then they're always going to expect you to be low. Because when I first got into business, I was trying to get business. So I was going low, and we were doing Section 8 properties, and I was going low. And then after about 5 years, it's all anybody wanted to give me. I'm like, well, screw this. And that was my fault, though. It wasn't theirs. It was mine. So I tell artists and writers the same thing. Don't sell yourself short. I mean, all they can say is no. And why you want to sell your book or your piece of art for $1 when you can sell it for 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is? I mean,
Yeah, that's always tough as an artist because like most artists don't want to talk about that with like another artist. But like
well, yeah,
I sell a lot of art at conventions, and like
that's a good way
everyone's
to do
like,
it.
hush up. Yeah,
Conventions are a great way to do it. If
yeah,
you're freelancing, there's nothing wrong with conventions.
yeah,
And I mean, I do a lot of. I didn't, well, I have because of COVID. I do a lot of lecturing, and I attend a lot of the Comic Cons and different cons because I got friends in the business. And John introduced me to the guy owning the Comic Con last year, or the Dragon Con. I think he introduced me to both of them actually. But anyway, those are good connections, you know.
oh, for sure.
And one thing I noticed about these guys, if they see somebody come in and rent a table from them, and they see their artwork moving, you won't be paying for the table next year. You'll be invited,
Yeah.
and that's just got to get on the panel. And I noticed when they were talking about the panel earlier, you was in the brightest thing. This was funny as hell. They're going on about you shouldn't have your book up in front of your face and your picture in front of your face when you're talking. And I didn't want to tell them that we live in the modern era and there's usually a screen behind you that has everything on it.
Yeah, there's like even at conventions, you can always print like the gigantic book cover behind you. Like I tried to do that with my art, where I did like
it's just better that way. And I like the table thing because it's hands on. People get to meet you.
I find it a lot easier to talk to people. Like if I have my art there, just so there's a starting point where they can ask me questions about it.
And you know what? I hate to say this, but people like buying stuff from nice people.
Yeah, like I found that to be true.
Somebody, I was sitting at a table, and the lady walks up. She said, "What are you selling?" I said, "Nothing." She said, "Well, why do you got a table?" I said, "Because I'm lecturing." She said, "Well, what are you selling?" I said, "I'm not selling anything." I said, "I run 3 different organizations," and I said, "That's what I'm here for. You want to talk about what I'm lecturing? That's fine. If not, that's fine too." She just couldn't believe I wasn't selling anything.
Yeah, I think that's always a bit of a
Yeah,
surprise.
it's funny to me. But, and every now and then, like one of our authors or somebody, one of our artists will come by and send me some artwork. I'll bring it with me. Because like my sister's a big wig in Atlanta with the Marriott, so when they do stuff, she'll set me up a room or something and display it all. It's nice. I don't mind helping people. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna charge a percentage, but I don't mind helping people. I want to see them make it. In today's world, I want to see all of y'all. I am desperate. Just like I said earlier, I am desperate for new material.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
artwork, I want to look at new stuff, especially stuff that's off the hinge or just different.
And it's always cool to like see someone's art who I enjoy actually get turned into a TV show. Like I've been following the Simon Stallenhag guy. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a Swedish artist, does like sort of like alternate history.
I'll check it out. I just said something.
But like they turned his work into like an Amazon show, Tales from the Loop.
I know Tales from the Loop. Yeah.
So like I've been following, like I had his art books for years, and then I saw the Amazon show. I'm just like, that's really cool. Like I didn't know how they could turn it into a show just because it was so.
It was a little weird show, but it seemed to work. I don't know what happened to it. It seemed to work.
His books were weird too, so it makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, conferences are a good way to go. A friend of mine, I say, he says, "Well, they charge." I said, "Yeah, they charge." I said, "You should be good enough to." I mean, and it varies with conference. It could be anywhere from $100 to $1,000. Depends where you're at. But the bigger they are, the more you're going to sell.
Yeah, for sure. As long as you don't get stuck in some weird corner. Like I've had that happen before. Like
that sucks.
Like I was stuck between 2 big publishers at C2E2 in Chicago, and like there was no traffic down my aisle. It was a rough show.
Yeah, I could see that. That can happen, and it's like the years I was lecturing at Roswell. I got stuck between Fox and NBC.
Oh man,
it was ratings to Sweet Weeks. I was like, oh shit. So you know what I did? I told one of my hosts that was there. I said, why don't y'all start some shit with one of these guys? So they got into a zipper war, shooting at each other. These Fox, big hideout $1 million hosts, they got these little zip guns. They're shooting at each other. Well, CBS picked it up and carried it live. Next thing I knew, we got people surrounding the table.
Yeah,
wow, that was interesting. You know what else works too? When you start conversations with certain types of people in certain groups, like I was in Laughlin, Nevada, doing I working press, and there was 2 guys who were lecturing there that I knew a lot more about than we were talking to.
Yeah.
We got into the book signing area. I started talking to them about it. So the 3 of us got a heated conversation, just a really good conversation. When we looked up, there was more than 200 people standing around, just listening to the conversation. Daniel told me he sold more than 500 books in that day, and I think what was his name? I can't think of his name now. He said he sold 300 or 400.
Oh yeah.
And they would just sit there, and then they kept coming. I mean, they would listen to us, and then they were asking me to autograph these guys' books, and they asked me to autograph them. Can you autograph them? There's not my books. And just sign it, Joe. Just sign it, damn thing. I'm kidding. Sign it. And I just want to know who you are. And, I mean, it was a good conversation. It lasted a couple of hours. And then I still remember the guy who had set up the book signing there. He comes and says, "What are y'all doing in here?" He said, first off, there's no one out there. He's stuck on this one side of the room. I'm like, look, guys, it was hard, but that kind of stuff works.
Yeah, exactly. It's as much about the cultural thing, saying you were there and then that interesting conversation was happening as anything else.
I went to, have y'all ever done any steampunk stuff? I got invited to a steampunk conference. I like to fellowship.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hate. I mean, artwork went hard. It just wasn't me.
Yeah.
And now some of L. Ron Hubbard's old stuff, I actually like the old school stuff. I don't know why. It's just something in my head. Some of them weird looking robots and things like that kind of get me. But there's so many different ways to get into art just now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if you want to become an artist, like in Golden Age, there's more competition, but it's so much easier to do now than it seems like.
Since you go to conference scene, I mean, you got it made. I mean, we're gonna do this year. We should be going back almost full blown conference this year.
Yeah, like the hard part is like saving up with like art stuff just to get to all of them. Just
you got to get enough artwork, and you got to have the money to go. And,
yeah, so
like I said, if you get out there and start selling enough, they'll take notice to you.
Yeah.
And you get ready back. That's how I did. I lectured one place, and the lecture went viral. And next thing I knew, I was invited over 400 lectures.
Oh yeah.
And then of course the price went up. I was getting paid when I first started lecturing. They were paying me $800 a weekend. Now after one me out, it's about $8,000 a weekend.
Yeah.
And, why do you want so much? It's like I have two businesses, and if I'm not doing them, I'm losing money. I said, so you don't have to make up the difference on what I'm losing, which I'm not losing that much, but still.
Yeah.
If they'll give it to me, I'm taking it. I ain't gonna lie. But that's what I'm saying. Go high, and if they'll let you get in there, you can get in there. Yeah. Any aspirations for the near future?
Just finishing the book, putting it up on Kickstarter. Yeah, so it's big monsters and landscapes, and sort of basing it on Nebraska, where I'm from. So it's sort of.
I'm gonna have to get I'll get John if it's okay first. But there's a couple of smaller publishing houses we work with, like Greenlee Publishing. A friend of mine, Richard Dolan, is going out of Rochester, New York. Actually, I think it's moved now, but there's a few of them out there, and what they do is they do print by book, but they do it differently. So they'll usually send you 10 or 20 books on them.
Okay.
And then after that, they'll whatever you want, you just tell them, and they print the new book and send it out. So you don't have to keep a big, large inventory unless you're going like to a conference or something, which is different. And sometimes I've seen them show up at the conferences for these guys with 200-300 books.
Oh, cool.
Because they thought that for some reason, if the publisher thinks they can make money, they'll show up with the books. Like, hey, look what we bought for you.
Yeah.
So, same thing with artwork too. I mean, the only thing I don't like, I noticed just before COVID, some of the digital artists were just cut it, like just on a crappy copy.
Yeah. Like I've seen some stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense.
It's like a beautiful piece of artwork that they've done. The original piece was great.
Yeah.
You're gonna put it on some funky copy. Don't even get the colors decent. I'm like, I don't understand.
Oh man, yeah, that's a disaster. Like, so I'm sort of trying to like be picky with who I'm using to publish my book, just because I don't just want it to like look good. I want it to like feel good. Like pick it up. Yeah.
Hey, see, if you publish a book, you should write to John and say, hey, why don't you check out my edit or get one of the people.
Yeah, that's on my list of things to do. I've got to get the writing and the art done first. But
there's nothing easy about a book.
Yeah.
If there was, I'd have done put out. I don't mean an echo from there. I see no echoes going on. Echoes downstairs anyway. I'll have to see what you're talking about on that. So I'm going to go from there. I'll have to see what's up. Maybe I'll go get some earbuds. It's going to say something wrong. But, there's something else I want to tell you. That's what happens. You get old, your brain goes right out to the side of your head.
Yeah.
Just recently, where the hell they were selling all kind of art? I can't remember where the hell it was now. I was somewhere in, I was outside of Disney World. They got a group down there that for inspiring upcoming artists.
Gotcha.
They will put your work in their shop.
Okay.
And as long as it's decent, so y'all want, so they teach you a foot up right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I thought when you write to it, you want that help you get in. That's like, I think it's like 6 blocks from Disney World.
Oh man.
He said the front traffic that comes through is insane. And I said, well, how much Disney stuff do you have in there, man? He said, none. He said, Disney, I ain't going for that.
Sounds like Aussie, right?
He's not going for that, but it is no stuff from Disney World, man. But he does a lot of other stuff, and I think they chose 25 genres that he wants to have representing his store,
Okay.
from sci-fi all the way through several other genres. And but he's kind of like them. He don't want any overly too much sex involved, not too much gore. He doesn't mind like zombies. You don't mind like sexy women. He just don't want them. He said there's a lot of kids that come in with their pants.
Okay, gotcha.
And so he said, it's just one of the things. And he sells. So if it sells, it sells. I'm not going to complain. He's not. There's another company. Oh no, that was in Europe. There's been a big push for graphic design in Europe right
Yeah.
now. So America fell behind. Now America's ahead again. I'm not sure how that works. But I was talking to Richard Halls a couple of months back. He was telling he's got a company over there that hires graphic designers to hire. He hires graphic designers for other companies. Is what he does.
Gotcha.
And he said, man, they were getting mad when I had to start bringing them from America. I'm like, what do you mean? You want me to sign up for the job? He said, we're running ads on the TV out here. He said, he started running ads in 22 countries, and I still can't get the artists I need. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you, so I'm getting them from America. Now he's getting them from America and Australia.
Yeah.
He said China wouldn't let him run any ads for some reason. Because you didn't reach the right prompt.
Yeah.
I said, well, you know what? Put them on my network. I can put them in China. And I said, but China loves me for some reason. But it's one more question for you, and I'm gonna let y'all get out of here because I know we're running late. And I'm just going back. He's like, let me out of there, man. I'm committing suicide at this rate. Oh wait, where was I going? Let me see again. Old age. Oh, so I know you were talking about using the CGI and doing it off your graphic arts off your computer. Is that what you originally started out with, or?
Yeah, I started out I was using like a web app and a mouse to start drawing. So I did like pencil sketches.
But
Like
draw with a mouse. I can't even draw a circle
I don't
with a
even
mouse.
remember anymore. There was a trick to it where there was a tool I found where you make selections with the mouse and you can adjust how it fills.
Really, I can't even draw a circle with a mouse. I mean,
yeah, it took a lot more time to do it with the mouse than it did with the tablet. But
see, now with the little styles, at least I can draw a stick person with it.
yeah,
Now it is funny. One of the programs I got on my computer at home, on my 18 core at home, I can talk to it and it'll draw what I ask it to draw. Now,
crazy.
what it actually comes out sometimes is not, maybe it's my accent, but it doesn't always come out the way I want it to come out.
Yeah.
I told it a couple of weeks back because it's a cool program. I said, draw me a zombie, and it drew me a zombie. And but it was a zombie I'd never seen before, so I'm not sure what that was. And then I said, well, color in the zombie. And then it's these weird green and yellow colors. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to adjust this stuff. But it was fun. I mean, it's for dumb people like me that can't draw. That's what it's for.
Yeah, those programs are always cool, though.
Yeah, but those are cool. And then now with all the styles, you can actually freehand.
I've got.
And, which is nice. I like that idea. I told my wife I was going to get her one. She's like, no, I paint just fine without any of that stuff. She still likes everything old school. She likes the feel and touch. My aunts are the same way, so they both do not glass oil. It's like minis is what it is.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They sell them for about $45 a piece, $55 a piece, but they'll bring 100 to the flea market. They'll bring 100 to a conference or something. They usually sell them all.
Oh, man.
I don't know why, because to me they're ugly, but still.
Yeah.
My aunt sold one that was a guy carrying some wheat with his dog next to him. She sold it for $500. I was like, really?
Yeah.
I said, who bought that? I said, was he on crack or something?
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't ugly or anything. I just didn't see right. But then again, when I look at Picasso, I'm like, okay, I don't know how this guy made it.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about art. There might be 100 people that don't like it, but you find the one person that does, and that's the one person that matters.
Now, what's his name? The redhead. I really like his artwork. The one that killed himself when he was 36. Oh man, I can't remember. Shame on me, man. He's I can see his face too. Back up.
Yep.
It's I like his artwork. I mean, he said vivid colors. I don't always understand all of it, but he's got some really vivid colors. And he definitely had a knack for drawing them. Yeah, I bet enough of this. I don't know if he didn't kill himself if he did as big as it was.
I think a lot of that, I did paper on him back in school. I think he was just licking the brushes with the lead-based paint. Just too much of the lead.
But you got to wonder too. I mean, who preserved that artwork to bring it to where it is today? Because back then they thought it was garbage. So I mean,
it's probably just those one or two people that I know his brother was collecting a lot of this stuff, so maybe it's just family members and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, 'cause when I was in private school, we had to do a report. I remember reading that. He wasn't liked. Everybody was crazy. He thought his artwork was ugly.
Yeah.
I said, "We're talking about Picasso, Van Gogh." I'm not sure which one. I get in trouble with Picasso all the time.
Yeah.
I had a lady from the New York Museum, right, cuss me out. You don't know what you're talking about. Picasso's the greatest artist ever. I said, "That's
yeah. Like a lot of those like more abstract stuff, it seems like that's more art for artists because like I didn't used to
I
like
would agree
it.
with
The more
that.
I understand it, the more I'm just like, oh,
But see, that makes sense because you understand where the colors come from, you know where the shapes come
Yeah,
from. I'm looking at it like this guy on drugs.
yeah. So like I didn't used to like a lot of the abstract stuff, but once I started using those abstract things to come up with my own compositions, I can kind of like appreciate it a lot more because I can see the composition that they're trying to come up with and just those like random patterns that I used to just not appeal to me at all. So it's just
Now, recently in New Orleans, we've had an influx of voodoo art, Haitian art. I don't know where it all came from. It's strange, kind of dark,
yeah.
but still, it's good. So for you, when you going back to the creative process before I let you get out of here, do you look at dark work? Do it comes into your head? Is it just the work that's coming out?
Uh, it depends on the day. Like some days it's like
That makes sense.
some days it's like you're a kid in the car, you'll see like a shadow on the ground and be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if there's like a star destroyer above where that shadow was instead of a cloud or something like that, and then it comes real easy. And other days it's I wanted to paint a monster for the book today. I've got to sit down and figure out how to get that done, and then I'll spend hours sketching out from those like random abstract shapes, and eventually I'll come up with something that looks kind of cool, and let's go from there.
It's definitely. But I'm gonna let you get out of here. Tell them where they can find you and how to get in touch with you.
All right. The easiest way to get a hold of me is just to go to nickjizba.com. I've got a contact email there, or just email info@nickjizba.com.
Send me money, people.
Yep.
You ever heard starving artists send me money, people? It's I used to do it all the time when I first started doing radio. I said, I'm starving radio. I send me money. I said, I ain't rich like Sean Hannity. I need money, man.
For sure.
And I've actually interviewed some big radio shows. And I thought I didn't go to war. I got these guys.
Yeah.
So that's where they can find you. Anything new coming up? Anywhere? Oh, any
I'm actually doing a comic convention at Planet Comic Con in Kansas City 2 weeks after this, so it'd be the 21st to the 24th, I think.
Rich to interview there.
All right.
When you see this tall, tatted up redhead coming in,
Gotcha.
Everybody, you know who it is. She say Jason. Her name's Trish.
Awesome.
She kickboxing this.
I'll try not to, man.
No, she's a sweetheart. You have to tell her that because she's all over Kansas City. I mean, all over Kansas.
Gotcha.
She's a local yokel, and right now she's investigating some weird going on in Kansas somewhere. So just tell me, I said, I don't even know, I live in Kansas. Just if something crazy happens, put it in the air.
Yeah.
She's like, why? I said, I'm not going to Kansas. I said, no, it's tumbleweed state, people. I'm not going there.
Like, I thought Nebraska was boring, and then I drove across Kansas, and I was just like, at least it gets a
that whole section of the country is boring. And I got a lot of friends up there. I shouldn't even say that. I got from Kansas all the way up to Idaho. I got a lot of friends in Dakota and all there. I ask people all the time, why do you live in North Dakota?
Like,
it's a great state. I'm like, there's nobody there to start off with. I mean, you got to drive 500 miles to get a tank of gas.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. And plus, when it's wintertime, it's brutal up there.
Oh, yeah. Like, Nebraska's bad enough. I wouldn't want to go further north.
Oh, I was thinking about this too. I got a good friend of mine I got actually a couple of friends. He lived in Seattle and Portland.
Oh, yeah.
And before all the wokeness went on, there was a big artist community going on. I mean, a big one. There was a lot of art going through there, a lot of stuff going through. And of course, we had the issues with when the whole country got woke. I don't know. They shouldn't even call it woke. They should call it falling asleep. But anyway, I was up there with a friend of mine who's building. He brought me up to look at some jobs. He's building 3 office buildings up there. What he was really trying to do is get me to move up there and run the job for him, which I refused to do. And he's like, well, what the hell are you get out of here? He's like, oh, come on up. And he brought me around. For a long time, I wanted to move to Seattle. I thought it was a great city. Oh, yeah. I don't want to now. I ain't gonna lie to you, but a friend of mine she's from Africa. She's a doctor that lives in Portland. She said, you don't want to come here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? She said, the city's just dangerous now. She said, it reminds me of New Orleans. She said, you got dodging bullets and stuff. She said, it's just crazy. It went from a great, peaceful, kind city to garbage. I guess that's y'all's fault.
Yeah, like I've got relatives in Seattle, so like it's a beautiful part of the country. Like be nice to go up there and visit, just to like see all the mountains and stuff, because I'm always just spending time with the relatives. But
I won $5,000 because of Seattle. I was on a quiz show, and the last quiz was, does it snow in Seattle? And I said, no, it doesn't. I said, it snows on the eastern side of Seattle, but not on the western side.
Yeah.
Because the question was, does it snow in Seattle or Puget Sound? I was like, no. And the other guy's laughing. It's, oh yeah, it snows all. It's feet deep.
yeah,
And the host goes, no, he's right. It don't snow. And the reason I knew that is because
the weather in, believe it or not, the weather in Western Seattle is a lot like the weather in New Orleans. We both get about 78 inches of rain a year. Our winters are usually mild, 55, 60 degrees. Theirs are too.
Yeah.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. Once you get into Seattle, the Tacoma area, it snows like a sugar blizzard.
Yeah.
But it's not how it is on that side. No, I was surprised. And then I went on a tour. It starts at Seattle, it goes up into Vancouver, then it goes into this little area of Alaska. It doesn't snow in any areas. Matter of fact, the place in Alaska, it's got warm breezes in the winter. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
But it's all off the grid. You got to have your own electricity, your own generators of solar power, your own water. Everything's off the grid. You got to have a boat to get everywhere. It's a great place.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a beautiful place. I want my internet though. So now, look, Elon's around now, so I can have internet anywhere. But I want my internet. I'm not moving with it.
I'm the same way at this point. So
yeah. Anyway, you got any parting words when we get out of here?
I think I've covered just about everything. So
you did a good job.
I'm a little tired and still like jet lagged from
like. You're doing good. Oh yeah, you're doing good, but you're doing good. And that's the thing about this.
You're be tired till you get home.
Yeah, I kind of figured. So I've done enough conventions and other stuff like this that I'm used to it. But
yeah, if you're out, look, computer, make up your mind. Up and down, left or right, doesn't matter to me. I don't care at this point. Just go where you're supposed to. I'm gonna pick up some of my earbuds tomorrow. So, not that we gotta wait. I'm just gonna plug them in. I'm gonna check these. If there's any problems, I'll let y'all know. But,
okay, sounds good.
And again, catch me before you leave, so you can get my information this week.
Gotcha.
And I'll get y'all scheduled for a real interview on big computers, on big side of the network, so you've actually got. So if I bring on Science and Beyond, which is what I'm thinking about doing, that show does about 1.5 million live.
Okay.
And about anywhere from 400 to 700,000 in archives. It's about 2 million a week. And so it does good. What happens with that is you'll get those initial numbers. What's nice about it is the archives stay for life.
Yeah.
So you can use them. I tell people all the time you can use them. They're for y'all. Use them however you want. But we tell them not to use these because these are more fluffy pieces. It's more about writers of the future. So it's not so much the biggest sales pitch as it is when we're doing just the archive. And we'll talk about writers of the future.